Hey Ananya, good evening, good morning.
Nithin, 1 second. There was an issue. I'm gonna start the webinar again now. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Hi everyone. A very, very good day to all of you joining us today. Welcome to SimplyLearn's webinar on AI and defense and offense, cybersecurity skills you need in 2026. Please drop your introductions in the chat box as you join in. We'd love to know your name, what you do, and where you're joining from. Meanwhile, I will be streaming us live on social media platforms. So please keep dropping your introductions in the chat box.
Good evening, good morning, everyone. Uh, good evening, Ananya too. Yeah, hi.
Hi, Nithin. Yes, great. We have some responses coming in. Hi, Prashant from Bangalore. Hi, Gargi from Delhi. Hi, Srinivas. Hi everyone, it is good to have you all here. Let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Ananya and I would be hosting this session on behalf of SimplyLearn. We have a super informative session planned today, so please do stay tuned. And before we dive in, we have some ground rules for the session that we request everyone to follow. Hi Devi from Bangalore. Yeah, welcome. So, number one, please drop any questions you have in the Q&A box and not in the chat box. We keep getting a lot of messages in the chat box, so we might end up missing yours. Please use the Q&A box effectively, and we will try to answer all the queries during the session or at the end of it. Secondly, avoid sharing any external links or personal details in the chat box and keep the conversations only relevant to the topic. And finally, for those who participate in the session till the end and give us your full name at the poll that we'll be launching at the end of the webinar, we will provide an attendance certificate that you can share on your social media or add your resume and even update on LinkedIn. So before we begin the session, please allow me a couple of minutes to quickly introduce SimplyLearn. At SimplyLearn, everything we do revolves around one idea, helping professionals build skills that actually move their careers forward. So today's session is also very much part of that whole mission. Over the last few years, we've worked with millions of learners worldwide across roles, industries, and career stages. We have more than 50 partnerships globally. And speaking of partners, here is the array of our esteemed partner list. The programs that we develop provide are in association with prestigious institutions like IITM Pravartak, SP Jain School of Global Management, Purdue University, Michigan Engineering Professional Education, as well as leading organizations globally such as Google, Microsoft, and IBM. So, with that, let me move on to introducing you to the guest speaker of this webinar, someone truly inspiring, Nithin Krishna. Nithin has been in the cybersecurity space for quite a few years and is now the head of the Cyber Defense Center at Jeppesen Foreflight. He's known for creating resilient, intelligence-driven security programs that have really made a difference in the world. As one of Sweden's top cybersecurity professionals, Nithin is also a speaker, a mentor, and an active community member. Impressively, Nithin was ranked among the world's top cybersecurity influencers by Cybersecurity Champions, a USA-based community, and he has a huge community of followers on LinkedIn. This speaks volumes about the impact and the dedication that he had to the field. Nithin, it is an absolute pleasure to have you with us. It will be great if you can add on to that introduction and say your hi as well to the participants.
Oh, thank you so much, Ananya. It was exhaustive the way you introduced me. Thank you so much for that. Good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon from which part of the world you are joining from. Like Ananya said, yes, I'm Nithin Krishna. I head the Cyber Defense Center at Jeppesen Foreflight. We were a Boeing aviation ecosystem before, but now we are an individual entity working as a complete software development systems in aviation industry. And like she said, I work with a lot of engineering aspects, threat intelligence, operational security, governance. Uh, that means every day, every time I see real attacks, not in just theory, I would say, or like we do in Hack the Box or Try Hack Me, but in real attacks happening predominantly with like respect to aviations, government sectors, defenses, and like AI, the current thought process what we have towards, and that's when Ananya reached out to me and she asked me what could be the one which we should actually be doing for this session. I said AI definitely because that is how the AI is actually reshaping both the attacker's behavior and also how, as defenders, we could actually defend it. So that's the reason why, if you look at the topic today, also, it is not just about defending, it is also about offensive and defensive. And that's the reason, why when this session came up, it was a very good starting point for people who are already working in cyber or someone want to try to join to cyber from a different stream. This could be a very good starting point for them. And with that, Ananya, I would like to just know, people who are joining already here, uh, how many of them are currently working in cybersecurity, or is that someone really exploring cybersecurity as a career shift, or what is a pattern of people who we have here? Then we can actually build the session according to that.
Yes, Nithin, that's very, very well put. Audiences, please, or the Q&A box as well. I will be reading out. Someone says, Rudresh is a fresher. Yeah, we have a couple of answers in the Q&A as well. Freshers, someone has a couple of years of experience in cybersecurity. Yeah, we have more responses coming in, looking for roles, new to cybersecurity. We have a student, we have more freshers, someone who's already working as a network administrator, fresher.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
So that
Nitin.
means we have interesting flavors. That's actually good, because AI is something in a budding stage right now. How cyber was in maybe around 2005, 2006 time, 20 years before when I started my journey in cyber, it was like very few people. All of them used to ask us, are we hackers or are we working on networking? That's the kind of questions what we normally used to hear from when we talk about we are working in cyber. But recently I posted one of the content in LinkedIn for cyber. If you look at, there are like 30 plus roles within cyber itself. It is not just one role in cybersecurity. And if you ask me, do I know everything in cyber? My answer would be no, I don't know. And that's where people need to really focus on. There are people who are good in programming. There are people who are good in putting governances. There are people who are good in AI, who knows to build some LLM commands, you know, the Gen AI stuffs around it. So those also require AI. And that's where this topic, especially with respect to cybersecurity in 2026 and the market opportunity around it, I think this is well put, Ananya. I would say kudos to you for that, putting this content across, very well put across.
Thank you. Thanks, Nitin. And you happen to mention like working with real attacks and being attacks being part of like your everyday work life. So I think it would be very interesting to start this session with a quick story, a real story that happened in the last year, 2025. So a major AI company, Anthropic, publicly revealed that a hacking group had used an AI system to run a cyber espionage campaign against 30 entities in the world. So this particular AI scan system reasoned about vulnerabilities and helped drive almost whole of the intrusion with hardly any human intervention. So for the
Absolutely.
first time, AI has become not just a tool, in a hackers or attackers' hands. AI is increasingly becoming the attack itself. And I think that that's why we're here today, Nithin. We're with AI now being on both sides of the cyber battlefield. Cybersecurity skills in 2026 has evolved quite a bit. It's become a lot about knowing how AI thinks, how it's misused, how to fight AI with AI. So today's session, we are going to explore exactly that. We're going to look into AI in offense and defense and the skills you will need to stay relevant and resilient in what is coming next. We'll also explore the cybersecurity job markets and look at the high demand roles that come with competitive salaries. And finally, we'll quickly preview IITM Pravartak's AI powered cybersecurity program as well, its curriculum features, and how it would impact your learning and career. So with that, Nithin, over to you. Let's begin with maybe just understanding the specific areas, in the whole spectrum of cybersecurity where AI is being used, or maybe even overused or misused. What role does AI play in cyber offense to start with?
Uh, like you rightly put, the AI was actually used by Anthropic. Let's forget about Anthropic because many people may be not aware, especially freshers or maybe who are working on that. I think I think it was in November again. This happened. The Anthropic issue happened in September, I think October, September time. But later towards that, right towards Christmas or towards Thanksgiving, there was an attack. There was a misconfiguration happened with ChatGPT, especially with a third-party entity which ChatGPT was actually using. So that's something which nobody actually thought, and everyone who are a user of ChatGPT got a notification from ChatGPT saying we have been compromised. And what they said is your chats are not compromised, but your profile information could be there with and the attackers. So what it means is all the models which you have, right? We are always in a hurry. We always want to automate things. And that's when we do a lot of AI-driven agents, AI-driven automation. It could be for cyber, it could be for development activities. We have a lot of, the development like lovable apps, which you can develop in a minute. So all that, you are setting it up live and you never do any sort of pen testing or any sort of advisory level of testing on the solutions. And that's where we think AI is helping us, but indirectly, AI is equal to a human. If you are developing a code like a human is developing a code, in cyber, we say that it has to be pen tested, it has to be DAST tested or SAS tested, and then it goes to production. But when it is done by AI, oh yeah, that's done by AI. Let's push it to production tomorrow itself. We don't care. So, but that's where this entity of AI is also has to be strongly used as how a human entity is considered. And with this topic, AI in offense, that's where it comes again, the deep fake, the personalized phishing. Previously, we used to say people like, okay, if it is a phishing, there will be a spelling mistake. There will be, some kind of vague grammar errors. But these days, it is, you won't believe it is actually a phishing email. You have to be like, you have to take the signature of the email, put it to some tool like VirusTotal or some other tools which you can actually help us understand whether it is a phishing email or not. Then only you will actually know, because it's so well crafted with all these AI agents or AI applications what we have. Deepfake. Oh, when when the first deepfake incident happened in 2025, it was in Hong Kong where the CIO was actually uh, you know CIO was actually asked to actually send some money to the CFO because CFO was not there, and it was like a 25 million US dollars was actually deepfaked. And now, if you also see, the people are actually using like Anthropic or the cloud solutions to actually mutate the malwares. Previously, we just have to worry about one malware, which is like, okay, it will be just a malware which we need to consider. We know this is the pattern of malware, but imagine a malware is evolving based on the signature of your system, based on the applications what you're running on the system. The malware can actually change the signatures. So you say you have a firewall rule, or if you have a IDS or IPS setup in your system or in your servers, the malware can actually understand that, and it knows how to change its signature so that it doesn't capture our our defense system doesn't capture that. That's how the systems are actually evolving towards that. And this, I was actually talking in one of a recent seminar in Stockholm, where I was telling people that we are talking about the AIs are actually becoming 18x faster. It will improve your productivity in one angle, but at the same time, when it is exploiting, it is 18 times faster than how a normal human being attack. And that is one agent. Imagine 10,000 agents are attacking your servers. It is 18x times again. So, it's so huge, the opportunities we have with AI, and it is also so huge that we have to be very conscious about what sort of attacks we can actually come into this kind of situations when we have AI. So that's the level of information which I can share. But with this, I can also ask people. We have a lot of people joining here. I can also ask them. Previously, I think a couple of years back, we used to receive emails like you won 100,000 US dollars. That could be the phishing email. But eventually, with recent changes with AI, I'm sure there could be a big change. The AI, the phishing email, what they look, it will be unusually convincing for others. I would say at least in the last 2 quarters or last 3 quarters, there could be a lot of changes. I'm sure people join here will also agree to that. Have you received anything like that, Ananya, at least? The change of phishing emails? I'm sure you does that every day.
Yes. Yes, Nithin, and I also see, interestingly, a lot of awareness within corporations, within organizations about such emails. The IT teams are constantly, on top of it, ensuring, we have certain protocols, we use, our systems in a certain way. So, I think, interestingly, as the attacks are increasing, our ways to deal with it, our awareness around it is also increasing, I believe. So how do you see organizations or experts dealing with the rise of AI and the rise of such attacks, like the phishing attacks that you spoke about? Like, how is it used increasingly in defense?
Yeah. So in the defense, if you see, like the first and foremost is it's based on the behavior. So previously we used to just have some signatures like, okay, if it is coming from this IOC, then that is a phishing link. Or if it is coming from this URL, that's a phishing email. Or if it is coming from this IP address, that's a phishing email. But now we cannot just depend on that. We have to depend on most of AI enabled behavioral based detection rather than just relying on signatures around it. And in SOC team, when you look at, we can also use AI to prioritize alerts. It's based on the endpoints, based on the identity platform, based on the telemetry of network. You can actually create rules using AI, which will help the SOC team to prioritize it. So if, say, for example, imagine there was a recent attack. I think 2 months back there was an attack in a lot of government organization, which happens every day in and out in India and in South Asian countries. So based on that, the SOC team can actually prioritize. So this APT is actually very active in this particular region. And then based on that, we can actually prioritize the correlating signals. And also, if this APT, that is the attack persistence group, the group is attacking this particular sectors, say APT 36, for example, they only target government organization, defense, and aviation, but they don't target banks. So if you are a banking, if you're a fintech organization, then you don't have to actually worry about APT 36 or APT 29, for example. They only target government organization or a Spanish. So that kind of rules can be set up to prioritize alerts in one angle. That is something which AI helps us. And also with respect to threat intel, that is one of my the 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 brainchild, I would say, been constantly working on AI enrichment. So where it'll also help us. So imagine when I get an AI, when I get an alert, when I get a feed from various applications like, oh, this particular APT has been attacking this particular organization. I will have to at least go through hundreds of information or hundreds of portals to gain information about various indicators, various attack patterns, APTs, collect all the IOCs. It could be hashes, it could be URLs, it could be signatures. Everything has to be collected. And that takes time. And that's where this AI is helping us actually. So previously, if I want to publish a report on one of a recent threat, I would at least take 3 to 4 days to prepare the document. But with the AI agents evolving, with all the Gen AI, if I have information about one of an APT, if I have some information about some of that, then getting a report from 3 days, it would be reduced to like 8 to 9 hours. That's a big difference in time. And that has huge references. Majority of the indicators will be covered. I'm not saying everything would be there, but majority of the indicators would be covered and that will be ready for immediate action for the organization to take care to avoid that particular attack. That's very good because previously, like we always say, any threat intelligence which you supply, if you delay sharing the intelligence, then the intelligence is of no use. The intelligence has to be shared immediately, and immediately you need to act upon it. And that's where this AI is helping us. And then comes your SOAR applications. That's again one of the best use case which we have around SOAR is, I don't know whether how many people are aware of SOAR. Uh, because should I actually take it into that or should I directly go into what is SOAR? So SOAR is nothing but it is the security orchestration, automation, and response. Basically streamlines the threat response to the organization. If there is any sort of attack coming on, how does an organization respond to an attack? That's what SOAR represents for. So automating SOAR response again is like one of our key initiatives which AI is actually helping us. The next one, like it's a predictive risk analysis because for any of these attacks, there is a risk. Previously, how do we associate a risk was when something happens, we've been reactive to a risk. So, oh, if this attack, this has happened, then we put a risk into it. But how do we know if without something even happening, that risk could happen like this? So AI can actually forecast it based on the attack patterns, based on the attack vectors, based on high risk identities, based on the entities which is having high access privileges. What are the sort of risk which could potentially come in from this particular angle? So that is something which would be having around it. And some of the real references which we can actually talk about around this is the MITRE attack, behavioral based detection mapping. We also have, if someone wants to know about the SOAR adoption trends, you just have to Google Gartner SOAR adoption trends. You can find a lot of information around that. And Microsoft Sentinel and Splunk also publish a lot of SOC, AI SOC case studies. So you can actually see that and you can learn from that. What as a fresher or as an individual, or if you want to upskill yourself, how are different organizations doing it? And with that, I would probably ask this to the audience here. Uh, we spoke about SIM, we spoke about SOAR, we spoke about EDR. Has anyone worked on any of that so far, or is it something completely new to everyone here? Based on
I
their
think we
responses
have,
before, Ananya, it's
yeah,
new to me.
quite a
Harshita, yeah,
few
okay.
freshers here. So, yeah,
Okay,
most of them are saying it's new to me, but they are
yeah.
looking forward to work with it.
Great, great.
Yes.
Yeah, no, because that's
Uh,
a start. All the same EDR, SOAR, those are the things which they will eventually be. Even they join, they start as a normal IT. specialist or a advisor sort of roles, they will eventually be playing very pivotal role in developing some rules, creating some workflows. It could be either SOAR, it could be the EDR solutions, or it could be SIM applications as well.
Right. Nithin, we have an interesting question from Nikhil Tiwari. So we were
Mm-hmm.
talking about the different attacks that happen and how attacks have been increasing. So his question is, how do you distinguish actually between an AI attack or like a human attack? Like, are there any indicators?
Uh, that's a very interesting question, actually. But to be honest, it's very difficult these days to actually distinguish specifically if it is a an AI or or an APT group who's actually targeting. Uh, but in a small nutshell, if I can say, uh, if there is a very high pattern of no fatigue, like the attack is happening, millions of requests is coming per second, that is really not possible by a human to do it. Or or a phishing email which is coming from a spear phishing email, which is purely coming at a well crafted, it is very difficult because the signatures, if you look at the signatures or something, then it's very difficult to even say whether it is an AI driven or whether it is a human driven one. But of I can actually give a simple example of this, Ananya. If you see some of my latest posts in LinkedIn, every time I post a LinkedIn content or LinkedIn post, I get a comment from something called as LinkedIn security, saying that my post has been categorized as a threat for LinkedIn, and you have to click on this link to reevaluate the post. And they just give a story around it. I'm sure people, if it is not someone who's working on cyber, they get worried on that and they will click on it. Do you think a man is sitting and doing it or a woman is sitting and doing it? Absolutely not. It is a bot which is actually doing it. Whenever it could be coming from, there are a lot of LinkedIn automation which is happening, LinkedIn automation, LinkedIn content creations and everything. So someone has actually created an automation for that particular content. If there is something mentioning about any of this, it is, they're just sending it out to various people. But if you click on that link, then it is going to ask you for all your personal information. It may be even ask you to share your, your sensitive information. And I don't know what it does, but that's how how difficult when it comes to actually understand. But there are different ways we can actually see. There are campaigns which in real time you can actually see the bounce rates, the filters, the click behaviors, and to understand whether it is AI or human driven. But in these days, I would say very difficult. Previously, we used to say it is, if it is grammar is misplaced, it is a problem. But these days, it is really not possible. Even attackers are using content which is coming from ChatGPT or Perplexity. So a human will also do that. So we really can't say it is completely AI driven, but maybe there is a help from AI when it comes to this kind of situations. But a very interesting question from Nikhil. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
that.
Yes, Nithin, and thank you for that interesting example as well. I think that makes it a lot easier to, understand um, um, slightly difficult or technical concepts, right? So, thank you for that. So, we'll move on to the next section where, so now we've understood the extent of AI usage in the cyberspace. So, I think we can zoom out a little bit, Nithin. So, you've been in the industry for quite many years now. So, what is your take on how the domain is shaping up in 2026? Where do you see the job market heading this year?
Yeah, like I said, the AI is changing how security used to work before. And everyone wants things to be done faster, and AI helps in doing that. So it becomes like the speed is is non-negotiable for everyone now. All leaders want the solution to be built and push into production as soon as possible. And that's the same thing with attackers also. Previously, we used to say attacks happens once once an attacker do a social engineering, he may succeed, then he will go into break into the system. He breaks into the system maybe, then he will wait in the system for a couple of weeks before he actually do a attack on the particular system. But with AI, it doesn't happen like that. It is like poof, attack happens in minutes. From days, it has converted into minutes. So alert volumes has increased a lot, the human judgment. But here again, Ananya, one more thing which I would really like to highlight here. We all talk about AI, but without a human judgment, this AI is of no use. That's where we as humans working in cyber becomes very important role, play very key role in cyberspace. So we interpret the risk, not just to respond to alert, but we have to be very careful about because AI, if you ask ChatGPT same question 100 times, it gives you different answers. I'm sure it doesn't give the same answer always, unless and until you're asking 1 + 1, 1 + 1, 1 + 1. If you ask different questions, same type of questions 100 times, it'll give you different answers. But we know as human, the answer is only this. So that's where the human factor coming into place. And like the global market, which is always increasing. You know, I would say uh, the cost 10.5 trillion, that could be like in 2024 or early 2023. But now, if you look at in 2026, this could be like a revenue for one of the top 10 companies in the world. Because that's how much of attacks are happening every day. If you just go to cyber attacks live by Kaspersky or any other organizations, you can actually see every second there are cyber attacks happening from every country to every country. And top would be like always Russia, China, India, US, now Ukraine, Iran. All these countries would be the top ones. But if you look at all the countries are being targeted, there are specific APTs working around that. And that is where these job opportunities are also so high. I still remember when I was back in India like 3 to 4 years ago, I was actually looking to fulfill a position in India for cloud security. And I had to actually interview 40 to 45 people to get the skill open, get to fulfill the position. And even in Sweden, we have big challenge in fulfilling some of the key roles. So we always have the problem of cybersecurity shortage in skill set. And that's where we need people to learn. And that is where a platform like SimplyLearn is coming up with such initiatives, which is really going to help people around it. And one other thing also, which I want to say is, the workload that's rightly put by Ananya and team. AI increases workload, not headcount. So if I want to have a SOC, I need 10 people, say an example of 10 people working in SOC. But now I don't need 10 people to work in SOC. Maybe I can have 20 people working in SOC, junior resources, and who can actually analyze all these interpretations of information coming from various SOC layers and all the AI agents which is sending it. And I can probably have 10 to 20 AI agents doing all the scrapping activities, sharing the logs and everything. So I can utilize the head counts in various other ways. So not just looking at one place. So that is also something, at the cybersecurity market potential, which we can actually think of. And one other thing which also I would say is, I've seen a lot of people, even I would also do a lot of certifications, but I would like to tell this to the freshers here, like, try to learn from platforms like Hack the Box or Try Hack Me, and some real examples which they are also giving you. Because instead of just gaining a certification, like if you go to internet, you can find a lot of certification on cyber. But get into something like SimplyLearn, which they actually give you some potential opportunities to actually work on some real world scenarios. that will give you a strong edge on what you could actually do with data breaches, fraud, also how it is really putting cybersecurity in place. Those are things which really help you in terms of building your career.
Yes, thank you, Nithin. I think we will also circle back to that point, towards the end of the session again.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be great if you can also take us through, the different roles or designations or specializations that exist in cybersecurity, and what are the salary packages like, because we have quite a lot of freshers here, students here, so I'm sure they would be interested to know about this.
Oh yeah, different roles. That's an interesting thing. Like I said, I recently posted something similar to that in LinkedIn. But uh, if you look at the roles, we have at least 25 to 30 different roles in cyber, and so it's like an ocean of roles. But many of us would know maybe the SOC analyst, threat analyst roles, incident response, forensic positions, threat intelligence, cloud security. In cloud itself, there are different. Like I may be very good in IAM, but am I good in Terraform or am I good in container security? Maybe not. But so that's again a different classification in cloud itself. So in cloud, if you see, there are cloud engineer position, cloud security position, platform security architect positions, and the salary would be like, say, from an Indian currency point of view, if you say you are a fresher who start like at 5 lakhs per annum for a cloud engineer position, the cloud security specialist would be at 15 lakhs, and platform architect would be at a minimum of 30 to 40 lakhs per annum. That's a difference. And that's a bare minimum I'm talking about, especially if you are in a technology companies, then the salary is like huge. It may even go up to 1 crore to 2 crores. I know people who are in big organizations, not just big organizations, I would say not the fancy organizations, but they are still earning big money. And one other thing which in cybersecurity is that you don't need to have a job as a job itself. If you are good from learnings, you can do something as bug bounties. You earn in millions. Some bounties will actually get you 100,000 US dollars or $1,000 or $10,000 based on if it is a Facebook, Apple, Google. If you're able to find any bounties or vulnerabilities in their solutions, they pay you like huge amount of money on that. And then again, like I said, identity and access management, that also has a different uh, path, like identity protocols, zero trust architecture, identity threat detection. And then the most common one, which I can remember, is the vulnerability management engineer, like who runs all the scanning programs, prioritize remediation, CV analysis. And again, this is everlasting. Even if I have agents to do this kind of activities, or even if I have AI to do DAST and SAST, still I need an engineer to actually validate whether the AI has done it properly or not. And then we have SIM, the detection engineers, which we have. But people always ask me, Ananya, is that do I need to learn Python? Do I need to learn programming knowledge to be in cyber? And my answer to them was always no, you don't have to. But if you want to be in some part and parcel of cyber, then it is good for you to know. I'm not saying it is mandatory for you to know, but it is good for you to know. Because if you're working in SIM applications, there we actually create some rules like Sigma rules, Yara rules, or KQL queries or SPL queries. And these queries are written, at least, if you have some knack of writing queries or writing some programming languages, then it becomes easy for you to write it. So I would say a good scripting knowledge or a mindset would be good if you are looking for detection engineering or being a SIM engineer position. And also, like we spoke about SOAR engineer or automation, again, here is where you need the Python knowledges or APIs information or something around that. But otherwise, all other places within cyber, especially if you are looking for governance, risk, and compliance, where you're doing auditing, because with all this new data regulations coming in Europe, India, all other countries, getting certified, like getting certifications like ISO 27001 or SOC 2 or any other regulatory audits are mandatory. And the big four, like KPMGs, PwC, EY, they are all looking for people who are from cyber because there is no one actually say, especially when you have this DPDA coming in this year. I think it should be already there, but many organizations are still adopting to it. Every organization has to be ready with certain compliances. And how do they know? They have to do audit. Do we have enough people to do the audit? No, we don't have. There is a huge backlog with all the big four to actually do the audit. So, and does this skill need any technical knowledge? No. This is purely around risk, compliance, and governance. So you need to understand the frameworks, you need to understand the reporting structures, you need to really understand what are the strategic leadership positions which they are actually doing, risk assessment, policies around that. So it's a it's a I would say it is more around, the way it is put is and the salaries here, if you look at to everyone, this is just a figure. This is just a starting, I would say. If you are really passionate about one of the skill set, uh, there is no limit. Sky is not the limit, actually. You know, I would say, it can actually gives you wings, and you can go anywhere with the skill set which you can actually have around it. And every organization needs you. It is not just one organization like, oh, cybersecurity is only for big cyber organizations. No, the startups need a threat analyst or a SOC analyst. The startup need a cloud security engineer. The startup need an identity management, incident response, ZOR, and also the cyber GRC profession. So I would say, this is just couple of roles, Ananya, but there is like, at least in my train, I can actually talk about like 30 to 35 minimum roles coming in cyberspace, and it will evolve. It is going to keep increase because threat intelligence as such, that was never there like 3 years before. It was only the vulnerability management. Threat was like, oh, threat comes, MITRE was there, we just do some kind of analysis. But threat intelligence as a capability only started like 3 to 4 years back. And now if you look at, we have AI security coming in, which just started last year. Until last, there was nothing. So we had AI security. And this year onwards, there is prompt injections, which is actually like, if you must have seen like all the AI agents on various websites. Like I think even SimplyLearn has one. So if someone is really keen to do some testing on that agent, it's called as prompt injection. With that, I can actually make sure the AI agent is giving the information what the agent is not supposed to give. So those kind of attacks are happening with AI agents. So that is also the latest one. And next year, I'm sure that it could be something else. Maybe the quantum security is going to come from next year. So the security concepts is like evolving every day. So these numbers, what we've seen in last slide, could be double next year and triple next year. So it's keep growing, and that's a good thing about it. What you see today is not what you see tomorrow. So you would every day you feel like going to office, and you would love to open up your laptop and see what are the real threats happening around it. That's the fun of being in cyber as well.
Yeah. It's really interesting to know how extensive the field is, and I think our slide do not do justice to how extensive it is. But on that note, we have a relevant, interesting question from one of our participants.
Mhm.
So, if AI systems have evolved to make independent security decisions,
Mhm.
based on, say, large-scale training data, will cybersecurity roles shift more towards oversight and governance rather than like hands-on work, like hands-on threat handling?
Uh, I would say partially, but in not the way what normal people will think. Cybersecurity will definitely shift towards oversight and governance, and also looking at how AI become more autonomous. But again, not like I said, there could be one human which would definitely validate this. without human validation, we are not going to put anything autonomous there. And definitely there is not going to be like a judgment day sort of like the Terminator movie sort of situation, like a Skype, what was this called? I forgot. Uh, Skynet. The Skynet sort of situation is not going to come, like AI become completely autonomous. But we are looking at making it mostly automated. When I say mostly automated, it is not autonomous, but making sure we automate it. So if there are like repetitive activities, if there is like a high volume, or if there is rule-driven workflows, then those things are something which you can actually automate. And one good thing around this, I'm not sure whether how many of us know about UBA, UEBA, which is user entity and behavior analytics, which is something which we've been using before as well, before even AI came in. So it is like the machine learning, not AI as AI itself, but it's more of an ML and artificial intelligence statistical analysis to establish a baseline of how users and entities work within an organization. So it was like the all-time statistics where people come to your home, they take how many people are there in your home, what are they doing, what they does, what are their salaries, how many people are living in this house. All these questions you used to ask from government organization before, but those are being done by rule-based systems. Like how many times you are actually accessing this particular solutions, how many times you are actually accessing this. So based on that, the UBA will actually come up with threat detections, improved incident response times, and also some of the zero trust architecture programs. So to answer to this question, partially yes, but not completely. So there are, and it is still in discussions, there are a lot of discussions around that whether we should make AI fully autonomous, because AI companies are saying, yes, they are good to do it, but the moment they say that, there could be a vulnerability on that. Google released Nano Banana, I think, in November with the one of the latest one. And immediately after that, Gemini was caught with two critical vulnerabilities. So that is not secure then. So how can we actually give full control to that when there are vulnerabilities which is still there on platforms like Nano Banana from Gemini, or from ChatGPT from of OpenAI and Grok or other platforms. So it's it's uh it's not something which we can actually say what will happen now, but there are different guardrails which you are definitely going to put, even if you are looking towards autonomous. But that's like at least 3 to 4 years ahead of us, because AI need to be ready. Because the AI, what you're seeing like ChatGPT, I think it's 5.2, what we have now. Uh, the evolution of ChatGPT from the ChatGPT Nano from 5.2 was over a period of 6 to 9 months. And I can still remember when I used to ask ChatGPT or Google Nano Banana to actually create images, it was very evident to know that it was created by AI. There was real, real noticeable facts on the image. But if you do that now, I'm like clueless. This is like something, oh, is it really AI? Because even some of the AI, there are tools which you can actually recognize whether this image is actually captured by AI or created by AI. That tools are like confused. They are like zero. I created some of the images, and I asked this LLM model itself whether this is an AI image. It said no, it is absolutely not an AI image. There is no signature of AI image. I said, this is the prompt which I used to create it. Then the model said, oh yeah, then I know this is AI. I'll mark it as AI now. But that's how it is. It's evolving every day. There are a lot of things happening around it. That's a fun, and that's one of the way all this roles are also very important, because people think when AI comes in, will my role go off? Absolutely not. The roles will keep coming. There are new roles which is created, which is coming up if there is something which AI can actually do. Yes.
Yes, thank you. I think that was very, very well put. We have about 15 minutes left in the session. It's quite shocking that time has run by so quickly. Nithin, it'll be great if you can, briefly take us through also, what are some non-negotiable skills professionals in or entering the cybersecurity field in 2026 should have, in your experience?
I would say the foremost skill, Ananya, is your eagerness to learn. Then you can be in cyber. I don't want to say that you have to be good in Python. I don't have to say that you have to be good in this technology or this technology. You need to learn. You have a passion towards learning, then you are in the right place. Uh, I don't have, when people ask me, like these all things is something which say, I know people I have done. I was actually a tutor when I was back in India. So I teach people in cybersecurity. And I have a good student base where people came from management level into an architecture level because they had the passion towards learning. And I know people who was constable in police department who was promoted into cyber crime departments because of some certification, because the learning what they have done. So all this are the skills. Yes, it does matter. These are the skills what it needs. But if I do not have the eagerness to learn myself, then nothing. Even if I say, oh, you have to learn instant response, what am I going to do with that? Right? I should know what is incident response, what are the capabilities which I need to have in incident response, how to detect, how to respond, what tools, what platforms. Each platforms are different. If I know one platform doesn't mean that I should know the other platform. So you're platform agnostic then. So it's about the concepts. It's about learning. I would say, people who are passionate about learning, people who are really eager to learn new stuff, the market, cybersecurity market is very much open. And it doesn't stop in 2026. It goes beyond 2026. Like I said, at least for the next 20 years, cybersecurity with human are going to stay for 20 for sure.
Perfect. Yeah, that's very interestingly put, Nitin. And you had mentioned a little while before how you had to review like 40, 50 profiles in order to fill one particular role. So
Yeah.
let's say in such a situation, any particular tool or like a tool stack that would make you inclined to view someone as a stronger candidate? Like what are some like basic tools or essential tools that cybersecurity professionals need to familiarize themselves with?
Yeah. So this is very well put tool stack, but like I said, the organizations, like say, there are organizations which would be more around Microsoft, for example. They will look at Microsoft specific tools. So if I'm a Microsoft factory organization, I will have Sentinel, I will have Microsoft SIM solutions, Microsoft, everything on Microsoft, Defender for cloud, Defender for that, Defender for that, Defender for that. But if I'm a technology organization, then I would have, if I'm AWS, for example, then it is more about AWS itself. AWS is offering a lot of solutions like CloudWatch, CloudTrail, AWS Security Hub, a lot of things coming from AWS itself. So, and vulnerability management, for example, the tools what it is there is Nexus, Qualys, and Rapid7, which all does what? Vulnerability management. And what is vulnerability management? It is identifying the management from the packages what you have in your development solutions and putting that across with the CVSS score and telling you whether that is exploitable or at what scale. So if you know what is vulnerability management, the tool is immaterial for you. It could be Nessus, it could be College, it could be Rapid7, it could be any other tool. There are a lot of open source tools. But if you are strong in terms of vulnerability management, because that is a big opportunity in cyber, the vulnerability analyst, because every day there are new vulnerability released in CVE database, the NVD database. How do you know which vulnerability belongs to you? That is basically about the scanning. There are agents running in, or some of the non-agent running, subnet level scanning happening across your applications. So it is not always about the tools, but about the concepts you know. But there are tools, specific tools like Velo is better. That's a wonderful tool if you want to do some forensic activities. Velo is the best. But does everyone know Velo? Absolutely not. The people who work in forensics are the one who will really use Velo. Nobody else use that. Fireshark, people who work on incidents or people who work on network security are the one predominantly use about Wireshark. Burp Suite, people who work on pen testing. That's my go-to tool for any kind of payload ingestion or anything around that. I use Burp Suite. What about threat intel, the MITRE attack framework itself? There is OpenCTI, which is an open source solution uh, covering the record future. Say you are a startup, you don't want to invest 150,000 US dollars to buy record future. The same feature is provided to you by OpenCTI in a community edition, free of cost. But you need to know threat intelligence. You need to know what feeds you need to ingest into that and make sure that is been aligned with MITRE framework. And also you have to have proper IOCs associated with that. So with that, you have tools. So for all of these tools, I would say, there are replacements. But if you know the concepts, like what is identity, what is IAM, what is cloud security, what is SIEM, what is endpoint detection, what are all the other modules which is coming in cybersecurity, that's what I need. I don't need someone to say, I know Nessus, I can do anything in Nessus. Maybe I'm using Nessus today, but tomorrow I may move to Rapid7. But when I go to Rapid7 tomorrow, if this person is saying, oh, I can only do Nessus, I'm not ready for Rapid7, do you think we will continue the position? No, he may lose the job. But if he is a vulnerability analyst, that he can work around any tools, that's for the people. And that's the attitude, right? For any of the skill set, any of the tool stack, what we need with people is a right attitude for learning, right attitude towards work. Because I'm not expecting them to work 24/7 or something, but they should know they work in cyber, so they should know the key aspects. If they find something, especially if someone is working in threat, say just a small example of threat intel, what I can give you an is that say you are doing some random activity on a weekend, you found from your personal channel, you found something was happening for one of the organization. You kept silent until Monday. You didn't do anything. And Monday, the organization which you're working has been attacked with the same attacker. So threat intel is not something for those people who think, oh no, it's okay, Intel can wait. No, Intel has to be shared immediately. And this is, all these movies which you see around Raw or all other things, people talk. If an Intel is shared, if you're not acting upon Intel, it's of no use. The Intel is of dead. It's similar to the one which I normally say to people. People say, oh, we have backups. And I ask them, how many times have you tested these backups? Should I test a backup? Of course. That's why the backup is there. If you're not testing what you have taken as a backup, then it's of no use. Similar to that, Intel, all this, it's about the information. Because if you're working on vulnerability management, vulnerability can wait. There is no problem. If you find it on Sunday, it can wait until Monday, but not like a threat. So various roles are various skill sets. So each individual should know about it, what they are getting into, and what level they can actually play along. That's what this is all about.
Right. I think Nithin, what you said about the intent and the interest to learn as the most valued skill sets like a perfect context to introduce our AI-powered cybersecurity mastery program. This is the last session of the webinar where we'll just like quickly take you through this program from IITM Pravartak and SimplyLearn, which is also in collaboration with Microsoft. This program is designed to equip learners with the cutting edge skills in threat detection, automation, modern cyber defense, and definitely, as we've discussed in the session, AI. There is a lot of emphasis on hands-on learning through over 70 exercises, 15 case studies. So you'll be not just like learning theory, but also applying that knowledge to practical security challenges. And the capstone projects are particularly interesting. They simulate real cyber attacks and incident response scenarios. So this will give you like a very invaluable experience in both offensive and defensive cybersecurity operations. And definitely one of the standout aspects is the industry recognized program completion certificate, which you will be getting from IITM Pravartak. So a little about IITM Pravartak. It's a technology hub at IIT Madras. And in addition to this, you will also be receiving a course completion certificate from Microsoft. This is in brief the program curriculum. So it covers various aspects of cybersecurity, including AI, threat analysis, ethical hacking, and other topics. Nithin, if you would like to come in here, it'll be great. Like, what is from your expert opinion? How do you see this curriculum? How do you believe that learning all this can contribute to someone's career?
Absolutely. This is really well put, Ananya. I would say whoever put this curriculum, I would really like to give them a kudos to them. Because like you said, real world scenarios. That's something which everyone misses when people are actually being told, when people are learning from YouTube videos or something. You need to actually have a mentor. You need to actually have someone who can actually help you through in a real world scenarios. And that cannot be learned when you're self-learning yourself. You need someone to actually take you through that. And like here you said, you have the the people who are actually like, I know about IITM, and it's one of the best in terms of doing masters or for research activities. And if they are coming up with such a program, I'm sure that's going to be really good. And when you send me this curriculum, I was also like, wow, this is really good. The program is actually taking through a lot of steps like malware ransomware analysis. Every day, like I said, the malwares are changing. How do you do that? It's really difficult to actually analyze the malware. But if someone can actually give you some tips and tricks around it, what are the things which you have to see, look at? That's something which you can do. Prompt engineering, like I said, the uh, the the injection attacks, which prompt injection attack, which you can actually do. It's directly responsible for prompt engineering itself. Engineering is the direct option where you how to protect your AI or how to protect your prompts. But the prompt injection is something which you can do against it. So that's something which you have to do. So it's always, I would say it's really put in a right way. Uh, and I would like to see how it actually scales up also, Ananya. Like you said, if you have a lot of real world scenarios and Microsoft is also being involved, I would say the learners would be more interested. Even if I am a learner on this program, I would be more interested to learn about how well this would craft. And if I'm certified on this program, I can say, it's a sudden shift from what I have now once I complete it. So it's not just about talking about just fundamentals, but it is also talking about a lot of certification. I can see from this angle, this looks like a combination of at least CEH, CompTIA Security Plus, not OSCP fully, but at least the basics of OSCP is also covered in this. Then the AI security aspects is covered in this. OSWE is also covered in this. So it's like a combination of like 6 certificates, which would definitely cost me 10,000 to 20,000 US dollars. So that's a
Right.
crisp which I can actually see from this.
Yeah, great, great. And I would also like to add on one more point here. In addition to the exceptional skills you gain from the program and the tools and concepts that you'd be exposed to, an interesting part of this program is also a 2-day campus immersion that will happen at IIT Madras Research Park. And obviously, I think a lot of people will wonder what after the program. It's a very common question that all of you might have. So let me just like very briefly take you through the career support that you would get with SimplyLearn's Job Assist. Firstly, you'll be entirely, you'll be part of a group setting where you collaborate with peers, interact with industry mentors, which, often leads to very, very valuable career insights. There's also structured interview preparation and, guided practice and mock assessments that you would have access to. So you know that, what to expect when you start interviewing. In addition, you can benefit from AI-powered resume assistance and LinkedIn profile enhancement, which will help in grabbing any hiring manager's attention. And with this program, you would also have access to startup incubation support via DM Pravartak. And fundamentally, all of this is designed to support you well beyond the classroom as well. So with that, yeah, so for interested learners, here are the fee details. For Indian learners, the fee is about 1,55,405, which is at a 15% discount currently, with also no cost EMI options available. For more details on the program, you can scan the QR code that is there, or I'll also be sharing the program page on the chat, so you can check for further details here. And with that, I'm also launching a poll to get your interest to enroll in the program. Please let us know if you are interested. Even if you have any queries, if you need more details, or if you are a little unsure, you can click on yes. Our expert advisor will get in touch with you tomorrow or maximum day after tomorrow, and they will guide you forward to your decision. So meanwhile, I think Nithin, we while we wait for everyone to show their interest, we can look at another question from our audience.
Yep.
Um, yeah. So we have someone asking, I think this goes back to the initial discussion that we had, how AI works with offense and defense.
Mhm.
So in real world system, does AI strengthen defense faster than it empowers offense, and why?
Come again? Can you come again with the question?
Does AI strengthen defense faster, or does it empower offense more? Like, where is AI's impact more, whether it's in defense or offense?
It depends, where I'm using it, right? Because it's like a double-edged sword. You can use it wherever you want to use it. So if an organization is using, say, if from an organization point of view, if I'm using it at defending it, attackers is going to definitely use it on an offensive part. So I cannot say it supports only this, because it's up to the intent of that particular person who's actually creating that particular script. So uh, I'm no one to comment on that, unfortunately. But
Yeah,
yeah, but it's like whichever way, it's purely about the intent of that particular entity.
right.
I would not call it human now, but I would like to call it an entity. So,
Interesting. Right. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you for that answer. So we have quite a few responses that have come in. So with that, I'm going to end the poll for enrollment. And we know many of you would be eager to know about the attendance certificate. So here you go. I will be launching another poll now where you can enter your full name. We will generate the certificate and share with you on email within the next 48 working hours. In case if you are not able to answer in the poll, or you're facing some issue, you have not received the certificate, please feel free to email us at webinars@simplylearn.net, and we will be able to get back to you on that. Um, right. So, Nitin, meanwhile, I think we can take this one final question.
yeah, sure.
We have someone called Salman from Trichy. He wants to know how to improve his cybersecurity, like his portfolio, so that, like, he can increase his chances for a better role, or a salary hike. What would you advise?
Uh, to answer that, I really need to know what his current skill set is. Well, I cannot tell him with this question, I cannot tell him, oh, you do this, you do that. Uh, I need to know what he's currently doing, what is the knowledge he has currently on cyber. Based on that, definitely I can help him. But without, does he say anything about that, Ananya? What he's currently doing?
It seems to be a pretty generic question on how to improve one's portfolio.
Is he a fresher or is he experienced?
Salman, if you're around, you can let us know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, please feel free to email us. We would love to know more details about you so that, we can guide you further. Yes. Right. I think we have a lot of you answered for the certification as well. So I am ending the poll for certification. So with this, we have come to the end of the session. If anyone has any questions that we were not able to address in the webinar, or want to share any feedback, please write to us at webinars@simplylearn.net. And Nithin, of course, thank you so much for your guidance and sharing your knowledge. It's been an absolute pleasure hosting you. Do you have any final remarks to share, any advice for our learners?
Learn as much as possible. You know, like don't believe what people are telling around you that AI is going to replace you. AI is never going to replace you, at least, like I said, for the next 20 years. So learn as much as you can while you can learn. There are a lot of platforms like SimplyLearn which can help you in learning, and there are a lot. I was also looking at some of the micro learnings what SimplyLearn was actually offering. You know, you don't have to sometimes always pay for learning, but there are people who are actually spending a lot of effort in terms of giving you the skills. So use that, learn. The knowledge is what will be there with you for lifelong. And if you can share that knowledge also, that's the best thing. That's the best feeling you can actually get. So nothing else, but yeah, learn as much as possible. And thank you so much, Ananya, for putting it this in such a structured way. I really enjoyed it, and the way which normally sometimes, Ananya, what happens is that the session will be so boring that I'll just be talking and it'll be like monotonous. But thank you so much for being it a more of a guest and a host sort of discussions. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much, Nithin. This was like a truly enjoyable session for me as well. A lot of learnings for me. And of course, to all the participants, thank you very much for spending the last 1 hour with us. We hope that you'll be able to apply the learnings from this session, as well as what you'll get from our cybersecurity program to get ahead in your career. And we will be sharing the webinar deck as well as the recording with you on email. So please stay tuned for that. So I will